Hey guys, this is going to be the first day of a daily series, making this the most Sleeper Impala we can. As of right now, it is a stock 3.6 liter V6 2012 Chevy Impala. Obviously, it's a ninth generation. This is right before they changed the body style, literally the year after. So, that being said, I feel like this is a great starting point. This thing has a nice engine bay size. This thing has a nice trunk size. This thing has pretty much everything you could ask for in a starter car. There are obviously some glaring things that need to be taken care of first, as far as cosmetically, as in this hood needs replaced. This bumper needs replaced. Pretty much the entire front end could really use replaced. So that'll probably be our first course of action. As far as some things mechanically that are wrong with it, such as things that need replaced and or refurbished, like the transmission control module, the wheel bearing in this tire, as well as the speed sensor wiring harness also for this tire. Don't exactly know what was happening all up in this tire, but obviously it needs replaced for the integrity of the challenge and just for my safety, as this is my daily driver as well. So the budget is going to be controlled completely with your guys' engagement. Things like viewership and amount of followers, things like that will control our budget for this vehicle. I'm going to be taking in consideration all of the platforms I post this on, which is going to be Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, as well as Snapchat. So all the money brought in from all of those sources will be put into the total budget. When I show things like graphics, they will most likely be from Instagram and YouTube, as those are probably going to be our biggest sources of income, because that's just where car videos do well. Obviously, TikTok has its own community, but not as large as some of those other platforms. So when I show graphics and things like that, it will be from those two platforms mostly, but you guys are not being forgotten at the other two, and I promise they are being totaled into the budget. Most of the budget is probably going to be put into making this thing a clean slate, and a lot of the beginning modifications will be chosen by yours truly. But in the future of the series, when we have a larger budget and more community engagement, you guys will be choosing a lot of the modifications. I will be taking some of the most liked comments or top comments from every video and be putting them into consideration, as well as things like sponsorships and things like that. If we do get any sponsorships, they will be thrown on the car if they are safe. Another thing, if a part goes on this vehicle, it is not guaranteed to stay. If in the beginning we have a smaller budget and we throw something like mufflers on this thing or something like that, if we throw something on early in this that costs a few $100s, but then in the future we get a larger budget and we want to throw on something crazy like a different set of mufflers, but something that costs 10 times more than the last ones we put on, we will be able to do that. Nothing is set in stone with this. And that's what I find perfect about this series, because this series can go on as long as we want. Keep in mind, there will be no major modifications in the beginning due to budget constraints, as well as this also being my daily driver. It does drive great. It's got 197,000 miles. It has never failed me once. I've never been left stranded, but it's always fun to mod things. So that's what we're going to be doing. As far as cosmetically, again, this thing needs completely replaced in the front, basically. As you can see, there's gaps everywhere. There's cracks in the bumper, cracks in the headlights. Front hood is just completely smashed in right here, but it's right along the body line, so things like that aren't going to be coming out. This thing is pretty much, other than that though, a clean slate. The only thing that's ever been replaced in it as far as modifications goes, like non-original parts, we do have a non-stock radio in this thing. Other than that, though, there's some LEDs under here that can be turned on, but are not hardwired into the car. So things like those, I do not count as modifications to start with, because it's as simple as going in my center console and unplugging this and unsticking them from under the dash. It's just that easy. So that is not a major modification. The only major modification that is hardwired into the vehicle is that radio. But pretty much the beginning of this series, going to be all making this thing a clean slate. Things like, getting all these dents either out or replacing the panels, because there is dents in pretty much every panel. Other than like the trunk, the rear bumper, and the roof, there's pretty much dents in every part of this baby, whether it's things like here, and they just all happen to be along body lines, because they're not going to make this easy, are they? So things like that will probably be our first course of action, just doing things like making this a clean slate. Other important things that we are going to need to fix first are the mechanical issues, like wheel bearings and wheel speed sensor wiring harnesses, transmission control modules, things like that. Things that are just going to make this an easier slate to work with. And those obviously won't be permanent, because if all things go according to plan, this is not going to be stock at all by the time we're finished with it. Literally, we hope that none of this is stock except for the frame and possibly the body. If we can find some crazy body kit to put on this thing, that would be cool, or even a conversion kit to give it a facelift or something like that. But as far as things go, in my opinion, the only things that are going to be stock by the end of this are going to be the frame and the body. Another thing, the first 300 followers or subscribers, or whatever they're called on each platform, will be getting a follow back, if not a shout out. I have not completely decided on that yet, but you will at least be getting a follow back to commemorate the 300 horsepower that this thing makes stock. So that's why I'm doing 300, for anybody who was wondering. But the first 300 followers and or subscribers on every platform will be getting a follow back. On YouTube, it will most likely be a shout out, as a lot of people who are going to be subscribing and following me on YouTube aren't really going to have a YouTube channel. And so I'll be going ahead and shouting them out. But as far as things like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, you all will be getting a follow back, the first 300 of each. So as far as it goes, today is day one. Obviously, we have a budget of $0 to begin with. But hopefully, this can pick up speed pretty fast, and we can get this thing going crazy within just a short amount of time. With that all being said, this has been Sleeper NGI. If you want more content of me personally or me with the vehicle, I do have another channel on TikTok that I will put in the description of all of these videos. And that's where I just sit in there and talk, really. It's a very community-based and mental health-based channel. If you just want to see more of this, those will be coming soon. Don't worry, I'm not abandoning this fast. This is going to be a long project, and I'm going to love it, and I hope you guys are going to love it as much as I do. I hope we can get some crazy engagement and things like that. Another thing, one last thing before I go, the budget will only be going towards this car as well as production value, because obviously, as you can see, I'm not in a very well-lit place or a very safe place, honestly, because there is just insulation hanging above my head. So in the future, we will be doing things like, trying to get a better place to record, or a better recording setup, or just some things as simple as maybe making this a little safer. So that all being said, again, this has been Sleeper NGI, 9GI, in fact, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.